Pitbull's owner Tia Torres thinks pitbulls make wonderful pets, but on January 17, 2014, she experienced something so intense that it might have altered her entire life. However, it wasn't the only conflict she faced. But her unwavering love for pitbulls was the one thing that sustained her throughout it all. The pitbulls themselves, however, were the root of her issues. What actually transpired with Tia Torres throughout those events, then? How did Tia overcome her obstacles? You're going to learn soon. On January 17, 2014, Tia Torres created a lifelong enemy. Let's start about the beginning of it all before we tell you what happened. The television program Pitbulls and Parolees debuted in 2009. It concerned Tia Torres and her charitable organization, Villalobos Rescue Center, which rescues pit bulldogs and serves as a rehabilitation facility for formerly incarcerated individuals who require employment. In addition to becoming a hit, the show was more than that. Additionally, on October 5, 2012, Tia discussed how the show had altered the perception of pit bulls as unthinkingly violent canines. Tia was called by many who told her that without her broadcast, they would not have gained an understanding of pit bulls. No one else contacted Tia. All they did was watch her on TV. Roxanne Harkrich, a mother of 2 girls at the time, was one of them. Roxanne thought Tia's work was amazing and loved watching her. She admired the way Tia worked to dispel the myths about pit bulls and educated prospective and current owners on how to care for them. Tia was right about pit bulls being gentle giants, and Roxanne really thought so. She acknowledged that they were misunderstood, impoverished dogs that may become devoted, affectionate, and kid-friendly household pets. As a result, Roxanne bought her daughter Kara a pit bull as a Christmas gift on December 25, 2013. At the time, it was among Roxanne's better choices. The dog was adored by her daughter Kara. He and Kara would have tea parties, and he was also devoted to her. Her pit bull would snooze at Kara's foot as she slept. He always wanted her to listen to the songs she sang for him and pet him. Kara assisted her parents in cleaning up after the pit bull and made sure they purchased special toys for him. She wept when the dog was ill and cherished the walks she took with him. Kara was so devoted to her dog that he was the focal point of everything she did. Roxanne enjoyed protecting her family from the notorious pit bull violence and watching her daughter smile. When it came to handling pit bulls, she did what Tia instructed. She made sure the dog had enough exercise, provided it the proper food, and made sure the dog never missed a vet appointment. The entire family was content, everything felt natural, and everything was as it should be. Roxanne had one of her best mornings on January 17, 2014. It wasn't your typical morning. The occasion was her daughter's 4th birthday. Leaving Kara, her sister, their pit bull, and other family members at home, she sung her daughter a birthday song before heading off to work. As usual, Kara and her dog were playing together, and her 2-year-old child was also present. All of them were enjoying themselves until Kara suddenly started screaming and wouldn't stop. The cry was not that of a child running around. The call was seeking assistance. After snapping, her pet dog started attacking her with intent. Kara's sister watched in horror and bewilderment as their dog kept tearing into her. She noticed blood all over the place, akin to a painter splattering red paint on a white canvas. Kara was dead when help arrived. After the funeral, Kara's mother still felt that Tia Torres was a major factor in her daughter's death, even after receiving the call she never imagined receiving. She even made a public request for Tia to assume some accountability. Roxanne charged Tia with deceiving others and endangering them with her remarks. Roxanne referred to pit bulls as ticking time bombs, meaning they would attack at any moment and don't care whether they are getting the best love or care. According to Roxanne, pit bulls shouldn't be around children, the elderly, or anyone who is vulnerable. She referred to pit bulls as mass C*********** and vowed to oppose all of Tia's values and ensure that no one ever adopts a pit bull. The anguish her younger daughter would endure for the rest of her life, in addition to her own loss, drove Roxanne's hate of pit bulls. Roxanne, is she correct? Is owning a pit bull a terrible idea? Everyone was waiting to see how Tia would react. Critics claimed that since Kara had previously done it, Tia was inclined to place the blame on her. The discrimination against pit bulls was attributed by Tia to pit bull owners during her interview on October 5, 2012. According to her, most dog owners set their pets up for failure. And that most owners try to love pit bulls into being weak, innocuous pets because they don't know what they need. According to Tia, the majority of pit bull owners are unwilling to acknowledge that their dogs are inherently aggressive and should not be kept with other dogs or in particular social settings. Despite following all of Tia's advice, Roxanne said their pit bulls continued to assault her daughter. Does Tia have a point when she says that pit bull owners set up their canines for failure? Although Tia makes every effort to treat her dogs with love, she has seen experienced owners who are cruel to their pets. Tia and her girls suffer greatly as a result of some of the events she has gone through. Tia keeps telling her not to join the dog rescue line because of the heartache they would have to go through because these situations are so awful. Tia believed she had seen everything until she learned of a family of dogs that had been residing beneath a New Orleans home since Hurricane Katrina. Before she could gain their trust, the dogs were utterly feral, and it took some time. She didn't always experience pain from dog rescuing. She was able to mend her broken heart with one in particular. She met her third husband, Aaron Marcus Jackson, while on a mission to find the owner of a pit bull. In the 1980s, Tia was attempting to find a dog owner and force them to pay for their pet. In the end, Tia was able to locate the owner and learn why they were unable to feed their dog. The owner, Aaron, had been incarcerated for 14 years for a number of charges, including a gunfight with deputies from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Aaron's vampire-like appearance drew Tia in when they first met. The two became friends right away since Tia was obsessed with vampires and Aaron was the closest thing to a real one. When they first met, Tia was going through a very difficult moment. She had a string of unsuccessful marriages. She was formerly married to a man who was addicted to alcohol and cocaine. He mistreated Tia while he was high on narcotics and alcohol. He abused Tia and had affairs with other women. She put up with it as she had grown up in difficult circumstances, but this was nothing like it. Although her first husband was a strict disciplinarian, the abuse she endured at the hands of her stepmother was something else. As a result, she left her first husband's home when she had had enough. She had nowhere to go, though. Thus, she relocated to her first husband's farm and lived in a camper. Although it wasn't total freedom, she was at least not subjected to her husband's ongoing assault. She eventually got a divorce from her first spouse and wed her second. Unfortunately, this marriage also didn't work out. After staying in contact, she married Aaron in a vampire-themed ceremony shortly after his release in 2006. In order to help formerly incarcerated individuals reintegrate into society, Aaron suggested that Tia hire them and provide them with work. We'll discuss that later. She had no idea that Aaron's counsel would have unexpected repercussions. Unfortunately, Aaron proved to be an example of Tia's poor mate selection skills, despite the fact that they looked well together. After a year of marriage, Aaron reverted to his previous behavior. He was arrested for 11 felonies in September 2007. These included attempted murder, second-degree burglary, possession of stolen items, theft, and grand theft auto. Was given a 15-year prison sentence. Following this, Tia devoted herself entirely to her career and shut down her dating life. Although many people think she and Aaron are still together, she declared in 2018 that she had been divorced from him for a number of years. At the moment, Tia is wed to her job. Despite the fact that it has cost her a great deal, her tranquility is among the things that cost her. And we are not referring to the fact that her life has been somewhat challenging due to her celebrity. Pitbulls and Parolees would not be the first time Tia would appear on a reality TV program. She worked as a cast member on Animal Cops Houston, which gave her expertise with reality TV shows. Despite having worked in the rescue field for a long time prior to that event, she had founded the Villalobos Rescue Center, or VRC, in California in the 1990s. Because of her early experience with wolf dogs, her center started out as a wolf-and-wolf hybrid rescue. Villalobos, which translates to Village of Wolves in Spanish, was even the inspiration behind the name of her rescue organization. Tia decided on wolf dogs after one of her relatives left his wolf dog, Cujo, at her door after deciding he wasn't a good guard dog. Why, therefore, did she decide to concentrate on pit bulls instead? Tia had pity on the dog. She was familiar with the experience of feeling out of place. Due of her affinity with the dog, Tia started saving other wolf dogs who had been abused or left behind by their owners. Unavoidably, Tia opened an animal rescue facility. Her early years were difficult, and she doesn't talk openly about it. She was raised by a strict stepmother who instilled in her strength and discipline, as well as an absent father. She found solace, among other things, in adopting stray animals and dogs. She loved animals, and so did her stepmother. And they reared those animals collectively, eventually including horses. The family struggled to stay together, though. And Tia made the decision to move out when she was 17. Among the animals she brought with her were 2 Arabian horses, an Angora goat, and Cougar, a Cathula leopard dog. But something was wrong. It was just a need that forced Tia to leave home. She was without a place to stay. She so lived in her van or horse trailer and occasionally slept there. She was free, albeit it was not easy. She did not, however, immediately become wealthy as a result of her independence, and she made some poor choices. Because she liked the music and the 1940s motif of the nightclub she discovered in downtown Los Angeles, she started going there frequently. Because they wore zoot suits, she joined a gang she had found during this procedure. Tia quickly discovered that gang life wasn't worth it, zoot suits or not. She knew she would die if she continued living the life of a gangster because she had experienced so many near-death experiences. She made the life-changing decision to do something worthwhile. She believed that joining the army was the only way to improve her financial situation. ARC recruiters, however, wanted her to join the Army medical section because of her high level of intelligence. However, Tia had no interest. What piqued her interest? Guys. In order to meet as many men as possible, Tia wanted to be in the department. And eventually found themselves in military truck driving school instruction. After serving in the Army for 6 years, she retired. She was stronger, far more ambitious, and more focused. One aspect of her changed dramatically as well. Tia was far more committed to helping others get out of their difficult circumstances. She accepted a job as a teenage gang counselor after relocating to Los Angeles. Drawing on her past as a member of a gang, she assisted gangs in resolving their disputes amicably. In order to speak with the parents of gang members, Tia would visit the communities. Additionally, she provided counseling to help gang members continue their education. But even though Tia knew what she needed to do to feel whole, she didn't feel complete. That's why she started a dog rescue. As we previously discussed, she started out with wolf dogs before switching to pit bulls due to 2 incidents. Tia was attacked when living with her first husband and after she left the house for a trailer on her ex-husband's land. The person who attacked her was violent and brutal. He persisted in picking at Tia's face. Despite her cries and attempts to repel her assailant, Tia was helpless. After being forced to the ground by her assailant, she had given up when she heard someone running toward her, prepared to assist. The animal was a pit bull named Duke. He killed the man who had attacked Tia after pushing him away. The rooster that attacked Tia was her ex-husband, who reportedly detested her just as much as he did. The tattoo Tia got to symbolize her ex-husband was covered by a tattoo of Duke's paw because she loved him so much. When Tia started animal rescue, she still hadn't considered rescuing pit bulls, but the incident stuck with her. She also seemed to believe that, at the time, they were not suitable pets. Her daughter's friendship with a pit bull from a nearby shelter altered everything. She eventually adopted the dog because she thought pit bulls might be wonderful pets if raised properly. In order to establish the pit bull support group, she chose to collaborate with Los Angeles City Animal Services. To everyone who had a pit bull or pit bull mix, the club offered free training, support, and neutering. After a while, she opened her own rescue center to care for pit bulls. Regretfully, her hopes of assisting pit bulls soon turned into a nightmare. How did Tia handle this time? Before we get to there, though, Tia made the momentous decision to expand her rescue center. She chose to employ ex-offenders to look after the pit bulls in 2006 after consulting with her third husband, Aaron. She was giving them a second chance in a society that, in her opinion, discriminated against ex-offenders in the same way that it did against dogs. As we previously discussed, her choice came at a great cost to her. Speaking of expenses, Tia could afford the upkeep of her center when she first started. She was reliant on sponsorships and gifts. But as she grew, her price also increased. From $10,000, it increased to $25,000 and finally to $80,000. Not wanting to shut down her center, Tia was drowning. After that, she got an offer. Based on her rescue efforts, Animal Planet wanted to give her her own reality TV show. Tia felt she had no choice but to accept this, even though she didn't want to deal with the responsibility that came with being famous. Consequently, she accepted the offer, and Pitbulls and Parolees were created. She anticipated that her celebrity would have unexpected repercussions. The majority of her employees were ex-offenders, and they started to experience harassment while her center was located in California. The trouble didn't only affect the ex-offenders. The police stopped at VRC multiple times. They would arrive during the day when the employees were out walking dogs and then depart. After that, they would come back at night and shine their spotlight through her windows in an attempt to wake her. Tia initially dismissed it, but in the end she felt that it was sufficient. After moving to Louisiana and packing up her rescue center, she nearly lost her mind over what she saw. It was discovered that the degree of pit bull abuse in Louisiana was almost 10 times worse than that in California. Although difficult, Tia persevered and quickly went to work. She had a lot to accomplish, though. And as she started to gather her thoughts, a flood hit Louisiana. The cyclone caused the flood, which ruined the homes of her and a few of her staff. Tia, however, knew what it required to start fresh, so she did it all over again. Despite her warning that running a rescue center was consuming, people built their own centers because she continued to inspire them. David McMurtry and Kaylee Sparks, a couple who lived and worked in River Rouge at the time, were one of them. The two operated the change, rescue, and rehabilitation pit stop, and many people commended them for their efforts. Tia, a fan, offered to help the couple when they were having financial difficulties and suggested that they relocate to Louisiana so that they could operate their facility there. In the end, the dogs perished, but it was a win-win situation for both of them. Many of them. The couple was sued by Tia after she got them arrested for the dogs' deaths. They held Tia accountable for the killing and said she didn't care for pit bulls according to the rules. Could it be that Tia is actually offering her audience terrible advice?